Alright, hello chat. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're doing fine. Alright, let's just get started. Uncle's Brothers Night Comp game. Okay, well, just that's silly. Don't join that comp game if you have a review in like 10 minutes. Alright, let's just get started though. So today what we're actually gonna do is we're going to. Ooh, it is actually is running. We're going to be looking at Guxue. Guxue. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Guxue. We're going to be looking at Guxue for Gibraltar, so we can help you understand a little bit more of positioning and the thought process behind. Yeah, pretty cool. The thought process behind engagements and um, just general stuff like that. And then we are also, what is this? This is Ilios. All right. We are also going to Ilios. Have a little Overwatch running on the background. Hello, unknown user. Yours is probably after this because I think it's first in the review. The general idea is, well, let me get you well first. Well, that's not well, that's the other one. Lighthouse, that's the name. Where is Lighthouse? That's a great question. Where is Lighthouse? Oh, it's over there, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, the general idea is we are just gonna look into this. No, it's not over there. I have no idea. Okay, but yeah, the general idea is just looking into the general things, and I have this Overwatch set up on the sideline so that we can explain things better in general. I'll be honest, I have no idea where Lighthouse is. Like, I cannot go further up than this. Is it around this corner? I'm also just buying time for Gibraltar to get here, I'll be honest. No? Alright. Let's just restart the lobby. Oh, and there's Gibraltar. Alright. Hi, Gibraltar. Nope. No sound.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, there we go. Hello.
Greetings, my good sir. Let me just find
Greetings.
that thing real quick. Coaching channel. There we go. Join stream.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find Lighthouse in this one. Chat, does any of you guys know where Lighthouse is in this one?
Definitely not the art.
Let's just restart again.
Is it like behind the mount? Is it like behind the mountain or something?
It maybe, but I don't think it's letting me go through the mountain. There we go. This is well. And from here I can just get to Lighthouse thing. Lighthouse is down
But
there.
yeah, I have a few questions while going into this VOD.
Yeah.
Like going over like Gushue's like game style. It's like one thing I would like to ask is like if he takes a certain positioning, which I don't understand, I would love to go over that.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
and
I want to start with the statement that not everything you're gonna see today is going to be useful for ladder matches because you have to remember Kyushu has both a really good team playing with him and he's also expecting certain things out of the other team that you may not see in rank. Like the enemy team may just be playing like Rhine Reaper instead of Counter Dive or whatever, right?
yeah, I see what you mean.
So not everything, and in fact I would say most things you see today may not actually be usable for ranked. But it's good for understanding the thought process. So okay, we're here. Let's just get started on the actual review. So you should
This is
start
the
here.
first thing I was so bamboozled.
Yes,
He took this position. Why?
because it's the safest position where he can engage. Remember, they are coming. They are basically coming from spawn here. They are not just setting up. Like, hold on. Let me actually go to Overwatch for a second. So he takes this position. That's because it's basically the fastest way to spawn that he can into point if need be Also, I think you are echoing me a little bit. See if you know
Wait,
headphones, maybe you should get headphones.
1 second.
Yep,
Is this better?
I think so. Yeah. Okay. No, it's fine. I can still hear myself echoing, but
I don't know how to sort that out, my good sir. My
that's fine. Yeah,
headset's.
don't worry about it. Hi, Woofer. Get the Overwatch League player like that? Yeah, I can get the Overwatch League player, but we wanted to
I'll just
watch.
mute
I think
myself
it's fine.
every time I want to ask a question.
Right. So the general idea of coming this way is that it's the fastest way to get to point. Like they jump, they set up here, so that when point unlocks, they can go here, so that if they have to contest the high ground, they can go. It's just a good position to start. Like there is no reason for you to start here, because if you come this way, you're just going to have to walk through the open to get to the point, right? On the other hand, if you just set up here, you've got cover. You are going to see. Okay, I will say this. We are probably going to see Guxue do a lot of things a lot. I expect him to contest areas or contest space, which is a situation where he will probably be playing against enemy tanks, just trying to contest space. And the other one, which I think we'll see more often, is just diving the backline. So I expect Guxue to do a lot of those two things. Space, just contesting space, which in this case it's point, and backline, diving the backline where people are not safe. So the reason
What I
he
don't
plays it,
understand is, right,
yeah,
it's like, why not, like, for example, instead of taking point, right, why not take the high ground, like, where, like, they could, like, do you know their high ground, or potentially, do you see that white building where, like, you can go on that high ground there? Do you understand what I mean?
you want to take
There,
this.
and yeah, there's those two high grounds. Why not set up there and just dive them? Number one, the point hasn't opened yet, and number two, like, isn't there backlines you could just easily get onto?
Not on the first engagement. After that, I assume you'll probably see, like, if um if Spark win the first fight, they are probably going to set up like here on the high ground and dive the backline. But on the very first fight, you have to remember that Spark's backline is also not set. It's basically in the same position. He cannot go too aggressive because his backline is not ready. His DPS are not ready yet. Like if he goes by himself, he's probably gonna get killed because the enemy team is gonna be all here, and his team is gonna be like, "What does he have?" Hold on, let's go to. Oh, I had the Firefox thing open. I'm sorry, chat. You were not looking at any of that. 1 second. Let me just re-explain for chat. So he's asking why here and why not diving here or here, right? Like I said, it's to get to point first, and it's because you have the option to dive if you need it. Like, if you need to go for it, you can go for it. Like, if the enemy just leave their Ana on the high ground or just go to point, you have the option to jump on the high ground and kill the Ana. But the enemy is probably not gonna do that. Like, the enemy is probably going to play similarly, very defensively, until the point unlocks and they come contest with whoever needs to contest. In this case, let's look at the actual game. You can see that they have. You can see that they have Architect, who needs time to set up because Sombra players need time to set up. They move fast, but they are not always going to set up immediately. And Godsby playing on the Ashe, which Ashe is probably going to take the high ground. So if you're jumping Ashe on the high ground and she has Coach Gun, she just Coach Gun, you just Coach Guns you away and you get no value. You need to wait here where you can just get shot in the open for free for 6 seconds for your lead to come back. There is no reason for you to jump the Ashe on the high ground unless you've got your team backing you up. And right now, because Monkey is basically the fastest, well, maybe not against Diva, but these two are the fastest heroes in the composition, they just want to take a point. If they see an opportunity to dive, they probably will. But my general assumption is that they just want to walk into point, right? They just want to contest the point, make sure the enemy tanks come to contest them, and rely on their DPS to get value while they're contesting the point. And maybe if they win the fight against the enemy tanks, then they can take the high ground. So we are just waiting. You can see our Diva is actually already on the point. And yeah, there's a Nan up there, there's a Sombra behind us, and the ball behind us. We are used to force the leap because we're about to get pooped off. But this is good. Like, he's playing with his team, he's just helping them. And he's from here he can still dash. You accidentally got kicked? Oh, hold on. There we go. You should be
There we
90
go.
now. Okay. So the general idea of playing this is, well, I'm ready, but my team is not ready. I'm gonna wait for my team to be ready, and then I go in. And in this case, because they have ball rather than monkey, they are trying to go all the way around, and this pays off for, well, Spark in general, because they just hack the ball and chase him out.
I wasn't like ready for most of the things that you said. My app crashed, and then I missed like 20 seconds of stuff that you said.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. So again, I expect them to be able to just... We just play in the... Oh, hold on, I went off of full screen. We just play it here. The idea in general is just taking point. Like, they are not going to be on the high ground. They may, like, the Ash may go on the high ground, but if we dive the Ash, then they just ghost us off, so we get no value there. And this is a good setup position. We can contest the point if we have to. Like, our Diva is actually going to go in a few seconds to contest the point. And we can help our backline if they get even. Well,
So this area that Guxue is looking at, he is like, I'm presuming he's expecting somebody to come from that house on his left. Like that's why he's looking. He keeps looking left.
No, I don't think he's expecting anyone to come from here. I think he's checking
Not
the
there,
high
like
ground
the back
and the point.
flank. Oh,
You mean like over to the left? Where the Mega
yeah,
is?
over to his left.
Yeah, he's expecting the
left side.
Sombra. Hold on. Like,
Well, she's in this room. This is what I was talking about. I think he was expecting someone here.
yeah, he was expecting probably Sombra. I don't think he knew they had ball, but he was probably definitely expecting Sombra to come in. That's Gibraltar tank on the call. So he was probably just expecting Sombra to come in and try to chase her off, but right now he's just playing with his team. Also, you're still echoing, so I'm going to lower you a little bit so the echo doesn't come through chat.
All right then. I can mute myself when I'm not talking. My bad
It's
though.
fine.
You can still do that.
So yeah, he's defending against Marble. He helps the backline. He has to use sleep because, well, he gets booked off, right? Which is fine. We hack the...
This is what I was so confused about. He bubbled here.
He's protecting the backline. That's it. He's not gonna need it. Like, he knows he's not going to be able to be jumping the Ash.
Backline. What do you mean the backline?
His own backline. He's protecting Bebe and he's protecting, well, Architect who got tagged. Like, hold on. I don't think you can
Where
see it
is
here,
Bebe
but
right now?
literally right here.
Oh,
He's playing with Bebe to make sure that the Sombra and the ball don't get a free pick. And from here, like I said earlier, he still has a position where if he sees any opportunity, he can just go for it. Or if we don't need, if there is no opportunity, we can just contest the point and take it, right?
yeah.
In this case, we got a hack on the ball, and I assume he's gonna get away, yeah. But this is generally a good idea. And meanwhile, while we were doing that, our DPS are just getting value. What's the review to review channel? We'll probably get to that today. I think maybe today. So yeah, from here we just take the point.
And I'm presuming now he's okay. There's ball, so he's gonna deal with that.
Yeah, in this case, what he's doing is he's contesting for space, right? He's contesting the point to create space, because if we cap the point, then their tanks are forced to come in. Then fine, thank you. And if their tanks are forced to come in, our DPS can go on the backline or try to get more shots from better angles. So we're just playing point. This is fine. We're getting value. Our Anna dies now that she's alone, but I expect that, yeah, she's gonna get rest. And Guxue dies, but it's fine.
Question.
Yes.
They are playing mirror dive, right? Obviously, instead of the Diva, they've got like instead of the Winston on the enemy team from Dynasty, they've got ball, right?
Yes.
Why don't they just play like Rush with pocketed like Mercy and Ash? You know what I mean? And like play like Rush with Mercy and thing. Like why don't they play Rush with a hit scan on high ground, for example, like Ash on high ground?
You mean like a Sombra Diva Reaper comp?
Yeah, with it maybe with an Ash like on high grounds or like a soldier. It's like why specifically like they playing dive, like because playing dive. Why don't they counter?
It's more it's not like playing Rush just immediately counter style. It doesn't really work that way. On these cases, one of the biggest reasons is usually you want to get to the point. Taking control of the point first is really good, so you want heroes with have mobility. but also you have a lot of high ground to work with on this one. Dive is really good because if you set up on the high ground and the enemy try to rush you can just move with heroes with high mobility. So you just get away. And
Yeah,
if
but
they
what
try
if
to
they
rush
tap
you,
point, for example?
then you just dive them during the rotation. They cannot really make a rotation
Oh,
that is
true.
safe because they really don't have a safe rotation. You can just dive them mid rotation. And unless you're playing perfectly, and sometimes even if you're playing perfectly, if you have like an Ash, like what's happening right now, they have, I believe, Architect on the Ash or Godspeed on the Ash. The Ash is just holding the high ground. She gets free shots if you try to rotate, and by using dive, you can force them to rotate slower, and then your Ash has more time to get picks. And at the highest rank, basically, if you give them any opportunity, the DPS will get value. Lower
Yeah,
ranks, you may definitely get away with just playing Rush because they will not dive you at coordinated enough to stop you from rotating, right? Like you will see people just go right through mid,
this
and
is really important. I want to write that down. Like I never ever like you know what we talked about it. I remember when we were doing that Volsky
mm-hmm.
Industries. You what
Yeah,
you want me to do is to go for backline during rotation, and you
yes,
emphasize that a lot. And you told me
yes,
you can't take that position because obviously you can't set up a backline dive because the tanks see you. Well, one DPS is going to shoot you, and the tank's going to deal with you. But like you said, like you were emphasizing this like dive on rotation, which is
yeah, it's very
something
good.
I
I'm sure
identified.
we will see Guxue doing like his team's gonna win the first point. Like he died, but they cap point, we cap points, so we don't have to worry about capping points, and that his TPS are just getting value. So his team is probably going to win point, even though he died. Actually, just continue with the with watching Guxue. Like he died here, but we have everyone else alive, and we are still contesting. Like yeah, Godspeed killed Prophet, forcing the rest out. Now the Diva is demoted, and he just comes back the fastest way he can, right? Like in this case, he's not worried so much about the setup. He's just coming back to the point as fast as possible. But again, while this fight is happening, we already have point, which is why it's important to cap first.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So in this case, he just comes back to main because it's the faster way back, and he's going to, I assume, going to try to pressure the Ash.
Another question. What
Yes.
if in the beginning they played Rush and just turtled on point?
You
How
literally
would you
get
have
there faster.
countered that?
The answer to that is okay. Just the answer to that is you have very fast, high mobility heroes, so you don't actually. You can usually only get there faster if they're playing like Symmetra, Lucio, and TP across or something like that. But even there, it's like if they turtle on point,
This
I
is
can.
dive.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is just. It's very fast. You are usually at the very least going to get to point first. And again, in this case, they are expecting the enemy to play somewhat similar compositions. It's not something you can always do in ranked, because in ranked, you will not be expecting the enemy to always play counter dive, which is what they're doing, right? In ranked, they
Is
may
that
just be
counter
playing.
dive?
They're playing dive and Tuyu. It depends on Tuyu really. Tuyu is probably going to be playing a lot of maybe not counter dive but contested spaces. So it depends a lot on what Tuyu does. It's not technically counter dive; it's also dive, but I call it counter dive because it's just dive against dive. So one of them has to counter dive really.
Hmm.
This case,
But
Paul
yeah,
just gets hacked and killed, and we just win the game. They have no tanks. So Gushit's gonna take the high ground. Yep. Oh, that actually skipped. I didn't expect this to be edited. I'll be honest. So yeah, you can see actually this is he's just going for the backline mid rotation.
wait. You said backline mid rotation. I didn't even identify they were rotating.
Uh, yeah, this is because well, this is like actually like hold on, let's go back. Like 15 seconds later. So we have a skip. He's calling the high ground, right? He's calling the high ground. The
Yeah.
Godspeed gets a pick, and he goes, well, Godspeed tells me where they are. Godspeed clearly knows where they are. Why do all teams have the same comp in a match? Like both teams? because it's just that's how meta works. Like if you play it perfectly, this should be able to win against most other comps, if not all other comps. Either of these, right? If you play it perfectly, then they win. If you play against Rush, like we said earlier, you just dive them in rotation. You just literally just get people together and dive them in rotation. If they play Rush, your Ash gets free value on the high ground. They cannot chase your Ash away. And if you have an Ash of your own, then you have Monkey Diva, who will just kill the Ash. So, where meanwhile, if you're playing Ryan Saria, the Ash is just free.
I have a weird question. Let's
Yeah,
say, like, because obviously I'm doing this with a lighter mindset. Let's say the enemy team gets into the point, right? Right?
yeah,
And there's nobody else around and they're all on the point.
yeah.
How would you deal with that?
You just set up the dive. Like it's gonna be difficult for sure. Like if you let them set up on the point, at that point you lose your advantage. Your advantage is being able to dive them in rotation, being able to chase them off, being able to just take the high ground. But if you have, hold on, let's go to Overwatch. If the enemy team is set up on the point, right? So the enemy team is
Hmm.
playing here. The only thing you can do is try to buy time for your DPS to get value. Because you're not gonna kill them alone, but at the very least you can make this rotation safely, right? So you can get here, usually, if the enemy team is playing on point. From here, you just try to poke either other way and get the attention of the enemy, and well, maybe just Monkey and Diva, and your Sombra tries to get value by going on the backline. Then you have an Ash over here who's just getting free shots, right? If they don't come out, they cannot kill you because all you do is you play here for a little bit, then you walk away, and they will not kill you because they're playing on point.
True.
And if you bait them out, like the idea is go in, you are not going to outlive them, so you don't want to just go in and stay on point
Jump in.
forever. You just want to go in. You just want to go in and drag their attention away, get value, and give your DPS a window to strike. Because again, time is about taking attention and space away, so that your DPS get more value, right? That's how it works right now as well.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That would be the way to deal with people turtling on
Yeah.
points.
And of course, if you have what the Spark are running on this map, you can just get an Ash here, and you literally have free shots on the point. Like if six of them are playing on point, no one is contesting the Ash. All you have to do is go in and tickle them a little bit, and
True.
then
I
Ash
never
just
thought
gets
about that.
value.
I keep thinking about me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it happens sometimes that you can go in the backline by yourself and get a lot of value. Like I said, I expect Guxue to do this a lot, though. I expect him to get nanoed for it. I don't expect him to go in alone and just suicide. But he's probably going to go in the backline by himself, and they're gonna use Bebe as bait. So Bebe is just going to die a lot of the fights because he gets Steven. And when the enemy dives, then usually it's gonna be like, okay, they are diving, their tanks are no longer with the backline. I'm gonna go in, probably with Nano, kill all of them because they cannot deal without any tanks, they cannot deal with Monkey, and just get out. I expect Pepe to die a lot because they have like Paul Diva as well and Sombra. But at the same time, I expect Gishu to just live in their backlines most of the time.
I see.
Okay.
And this is where like this is where Winston comes together, where like he's a distractor. You're
Yeah,
making value for your DPS for the fact that like, if I put it into perspective, let's say you're on the back line, Reinhardt turns around, no one's contesting the Ash. That's free shots.
yeah,
And then Reinhardt has to shield up, so no one's diving him, and it's chaos.
yeah, that's
That is so
the
awesome.
general idea is taking space away. But like I said, what Monkey does is he contests space. Like he can contest space really good. He cannot take space in the same way that Reinhardt can. Like with Reinhardt, you can take space very easily. You just walk forward with your shield. Monkey cannot really take space that way, but he can contest space very well. So he can go in. You don't even have to leave. You can just walk from here to here, and when you're low, well, you use your bubble. You spend your resources. When you're low, you just jump away, get healed, and come back. And you are contesting this space. And at the same time, the enemy is just looking at you, and they're having to invest resources. And your DPS are just free to do whatever they want. With this being Sombra and this being Ash.
And
Okay.
even if you do that for 2 seconds, 2 seconds is a lot of time
Yeah,
maneuver.
Ash. If you do like 20 damage with your cleave, which is again like 0.3 of a second, Ash will get a headshot kill because she does like pocketed like 190 damage. So all you have to do is walk in, take their attention away, do a little cleave, and Ash can get headshot kills.
So it
Uh,
would be preferable if your Ash is on that top right, and
yeah.
you decide to go on the left side and start zapping from there. Then you're gonna
This way?
make them look at you, and Ash will get a flank.
Yeah, you can do that as well. This is usually good because it's closest, so you don't have to rotate as long. But if you don't think they're gonna come meet you, like if you try to make this rotation, they are gonna come meet you. At least I expect them to come meet you here while you are rotating. But if they don't, yeah, you can just easily just go all the way here and get value from here to force them away from the Ash's side lane. The same way though, if you come this way, you can have a flanker like Sombra come from this way instead, and you still have Ash getting value from
Yeah.
here. And if they look this way, you have Sombra here. And if you come here and they look this way, Sombra is kind of in the left side, but then Ash gets value. So that's in general how you want to deal with turtle incomes.
You're literally surrounding them.
Yeah, that's the general idea. If you attack them from multiple angles, especially like brawl comps are really good at holding. Like Reinhardt is really good at holding one angle, but he struggles against flankers and people attacking him from several angles.
That
Okay,
makes sense.
let's just
Thank
go
you for
back.
clarifying.
No problem. Let's go back to the Guxue thing. So here she's set up in a really good position. From here, he's got the high ground. He can drop. He can taste people that come beneath him, like through the mega.
Literally, he has control of everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere.
And from here, something he can do is he can dive. Like he knows where the team is. Like he knows they're 13 high ground because Godsby told him. Like Godsby just got a pick onto you who was getting his mech back, and was like, "Hey, there's two more people over here with the diva that I see." Then Gucci is just gonna go,
Yeah,
"Oh,
but
they're
how do
rotating."
you not know? Like, how do you not know if majority of their team is there? Like, for example, what if Sombra was there and you just got hacked because you went for
Uh,
that leap engagement?
so I assume that Godsby just told him who's here, but also Sombra is not usually going to be with the team a lot. If you're playing a defensive Sombra nowadays, she may, but at that point, honestly, the bubble is your lifeline. You just jump in, bubble. Bubble will stop you from getting hacked. And something you usually want to do, and something I am sure we will see Yushi doing a lot, is taking very high leaps. So that when he lands, he can put the
Charges
bubble
cooldown.
down, and yeah, the cooldown is shorter at that point. So the idea is Yushi is probably going to try to survive by himself or get kills. And Godfrey can still get shot from far away, and QOQ can still come forward and help him. But the general idea here, especially playing with Anana, is just jump in very high, drop bubble when you engage, get value, get a kill maybe, and then just leap out. So let's just keep watching. So he goes for actually a very direct, because I assume he actually knew that they were going for the rest. I assume Godzi told him, or he heard the sound, and he just jumped forward to try to stop the rest. He forces the rest off by pooping the Mercy away. And then he leaps out. I expect him to leap out. Like, he actually... Oh, we EMP. I did not expect him to leap in, but we just EMP. They coordinate an EMP and they just kill him. Yeah, one fight, EMP.
Goodness gracious me.
That's just a great play from Architect. Also, Architect, like, now that I know that Architect was all the way back here... Oh, I went all the way back, hold on. Now that I know that Architect was all the way around, Architect was actually probably the one who called the rotation and called the Mercy going for the rest alone. So again, information, very important. Like, Architect being able to be behind them and tell his team everything that's going on is giving Guxue a very big window to just go forward and kill things. And here, I expected him to get out because, again, the Diva is dead and they don't have res. But because Architect is in a good position to EMP, Architect probably just is counting down the EMP right now, I would imagine. We just go forward.
1.
Yeah, there you go. We get 2 picks. And we get out, I assume. Like, we try to kill the Sombra.
And also Resurana.
Yeah, we were Serana, who got Divan during the... Again, if we are going for an engagement, I expect Bebe to just die. Because we have no peel. Like, if QOQ is coming with Guxue, Bebe's just gonna die. Like 90% of the time, Bebe's just dead. But
So
yeah,
it's
we use...
you have to make.
Yeah, no, you actually use Bebe as bait. Like, if you draw Marvel and Fitz away from their team, Bebe is just bait. You just go, okay, Bebe, you're gonna die, I'm sorry, but we will win every fight if they kill you with 2 people. And then we have the rest. So we just rest Diana. So you notice he comes back to the same spot. Again, this is just a really good spot, but no reason not to play here.
But as dive, why would you want to go in there?
Do you mean them?
Yeah. Why
Dynasty?
would you go in there? You're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
They are actually probably not going through here. Like, I imagine they are rotating to the high ground. But the advantage you have is, well, while we are waiting for them to rotate, I can just stab them. If anyone's below me, I just stab them.
Not to
And we
mention
are
he's nanoed
preventing
as
that.
well.
So it's not like that Guxue is actually expecting them to come that way. It's just that, yeah, I might as well be doing that because why not? I can, if I'm losing ammo, I can reload while I leave anyway. So it's not like I'm losing anything. I'm just contesting this area as well. He gets nanoed, so I expect him to just go very deep. Architect probably called that they are mid rotation, so again, I imagine Guxue is just gonna leap in with the sort of 9. Yeah, that's really good as well. That's a good point. If you're spamming that location, you are stopping Sombra from coming that way because she can't go invisible through your laser, right? So that's also a very good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
It's spy
true.
checking. It's spy checking. So we get nano. I expect Kyushu to just like they're pulling the stairs, rotating through high ground right now. I expect like Profit and Toby to be there. Just hard dive. Yep. Profit, Toby. Profit gets away, but honestly, we already got the value we wanted. They even UMP. He's probably gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably a lost fight, but they use EMP, which is basically a 5-minute ultimate. And we get rest. That's pretty good. So we die because we get tagged with by
Oh.
EMP, which happens. If you get tagged by EMP, you're probably dead. Your bubble goes away, you can't leap away, you're probably dead. We get rest. I think this fight is still lost, but maybe not. So we take here.
Why
We just
didn't
take the
he
hack.
bubble there? But there.
He doesn't need to bubble.
He
Like in this case,
how
I think he's dropping the bubble because of the D.Va bomb, right? Hold on, let's go back a little bit. What's this? Okay, J. So he gets rest. He
interesting.
has full health, so he doesn't need the bubble yet. He's going to tickle this area. Then he goes low, but he doesn't need to bubble there. In fact, if he bubbles, D.Va just walks through it and keeps shooting. Jumping away is more effective to stay alive. Then he drops the bubble.
Not to mention, he also has primal, so he doesn't need to.
Yeah, I assume he's gonna. I assume he's just gonna primal right here. But he drops the bubble, presumably because he's gonna primal and because of D.Va bomb. So I'm like, yeah, D.Va bomb, you bubble to be safe, you primal to stay alive. Yeah, he just immediately primals. Drops bubble for D.Va bomb and primals.
What was the thought process of this primal?
I'm low on HP, I need to survive.
But you're like 200 HP. Why not just be on that high ground, just like get heals from your Ana?
Because your Ana is getting demon, right? Like you cannot say it, but I imagine Marble and Fitz are on top of your Ana right now. Like your Ana is probably like dying. Like I said, Bebe is basically playing by himself. He's probably he's just going to die a lot of time. And even if he's not dead, he's going to be getting pressured a lot of the time by Marble, by Fitz, by Profits, and to you, right? Like half of our team can annoy your Ana really easily. So you cannot just play safe and wait for the Ana to kill you because your Ana is just gonna die. So we take damage, we jump up. I wish we could see Bebe on this one. Yeah, we can't see Bebe, but
as of now, he's
there
getting
he
dived.
is.
Like I know.
Yeah, he actually was getting demon by Marble, but he's actually slept Marble and killed Marble. So that's pretty good from Bebe.
He was pocketed as well. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, because yeah. But there you go. And we die Bidosian because he's alone. Like again, Bidosian here is kind of bait. Like his team is just pushing the point. Marble is dead. We have Bob on the point. So we try to go for Bidosian, but we have to get out because they're contesting point. Again, if you really want to draw the tanks away from your backline, what you do is you contest point because the tanks are usually the ones contesting point, right? This is a lost fight anyway. Like, we don't have QQ, Guxue's gonna die.
R.I.P. Guxue.
Yeah, he's probably going to try to... I was gonna say he's probably going to try to get away, but looks like he's committing to this fight. We keep pressuring the point.
And we could potentially kill the nice.
Yeah, we kill the diva. They rest Ana, so this is very important for them. Now they have healing again.
This
And
is
we
when you
don't.
talked about diving mid-rotation. I think
Yeah.
they were trying to rotate to point, and that's why he went for that aggressive dive, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably. Like, if he saw an opportunity, or if someone in his team called an opportunity, then that's probably why he went aggressive. I do wish we had comms for Overwatch League matches, but at the same time, it would probably give a lot of stuff away. So probably not gonna happen, like, ever. But yeah, we just lose that
Like,
fight.
what kind of stuff away? Exactly.
Strategies, like, comms in general. Comms are a very big reason of why Overwatch League teams are as high up as they are. It's not only just mechanical skill, it's a lot of comms as well. And if you just divulge those to the enemy team can just listen to them and be like, okay, this person is, for example, shot calling. If we kill them really fast, then the team falls apart. You are exposing possible weaknesses of your team. It's like if you're playing football, like not American football, but soccer, and you just give the enemy, like the opponent, the enemy team, a sheet with your formation. It's like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure that's not ideal. The enemy team can still look into you, and they may be able to figure some stuff out, but at the very least, they have to put in the work, and even then, they may still be wrong and not know other things. So there's no reason to show them everything. So again, we set up on the bottom left to contest point. That's the idea. We contest point. We commit with leap. I will watch that after this one. San Francisco Shock League their comms ones. Yeah. And there is com watches, but they're generally just sort of run. You don't hear any actual insight onto their planning phase. So yeah, Guxue just contest point, forces Marble away. Now Bebe is kinda free. Yeah, both tanks come to point. Guxue just survives on point. We get a hack on Marvel, so he may be killable.
Yeah.
Not dead, but again, they have to retreat a little bit. They actually commit Nano on Marble to keep him alive.
Yeah.
And this is a miscommunication. We get Nano, that's we jump out.
Only bad thing. I thought that it's like this happens to me in games. Like you think to retreat, but your Anna tries to save you.
Yeah, this happens.
So when she saves you, yeah.
And you jump out and you wasted leap and probably half of Nano. It happens. Like, I'm pointing it out at you right now. It happens even in Overwatch League. Like, Guxue was like, I'm low, I have to get out. And Bebe just didn't call that he was getting Nano. Just did it. And just miscommunication. They happen. He's gonna try to get back in, but we have already wasted, like, the entirety of Nano. Yeah, we don't get, like, any value out of Nano. Still, though, it allows Guxue to come back in, because he's got health now. Do damage to the Diva.
That bubble there.
He's just taking so much damage. Also, his team is getting value. Like, remember, he's distracting Tuyu, Fitz, and Toby, and his team is just killing everything else. Like, hold on, let's go back 5 seconds. So here we got Marble, Fitz over here, Tuyu is playing over here as well. Tuyu. So he just goes in, does damage. Meanwhile, Marble is still on the backline. Tuyu is distracted here. We got Profit, we got this is Toby, I think, or Fitz. That's Fitz, Toby's playing above here. He just distracts literally half of the team and the other people just die. His DPS just get value because he's taking their attention away from the enemy team. And then he doesn't even go low. This is another miscommunication. But he's just like, I did my job, I can get out. I don't need to stay here.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing in my opinion. Like,
again, this is a miscommunication because we commit EMP, so he could have stayed, no problem, but you can see again that he's the idea of I'm getting out, and someone in his team is like, let's go aggressive. So that's a small miscommunication. Probably like 0.3 of a second. Not even like half a second. But yeah, we just won the fight. We just take point and kill them off. He chases Diva, he gets Primal, yeah. That's pretty good. He's waiting for the Diva to come back up to move her off again.
Oh,
But we
that's
just win.
satisfying to watch.
And yeah, we just win the point. If you take the like, hold on, let's go to it is very important to take control of these first control points first, because you have the opportunity to set up dice while the enemy is rotating. If you have
Yeah,
to make
because
the
they want
rotations,
to rotate to point.
yeah, if you have to make the rotations, it becomes a lot harder. Like it's very difficult to take this high ground because you have to come through this bridge, which is very vulnerable. Like if your monkey just jumps in, he gets cleave on everyone. Like Guxue did several times, actually jumping from here. But so what they actually did when they lost the point was, let's come back through this place and contest the point right away to throw the tanks away. And while the tanks are away, we can take space with our DPS. That's the general idea of, if we put pressure on point, then we draw their tanks away, and if their tanks are away, our DPS can go to the place we claim. Because if we don't deal with the tanks, and they just have like people playing here, then when our Ash comes out, D.Va just dives the Ash and kills her, right? So the general idea is we
Yeah.
draw the ball and the D.Va away to point by going to point, and then our Ash can come out and at the very least duel the Ash in a fair matchup.
I have an odd question. What if,
Yep.
like, for example, let's say in comp, right?
Yeah.
They send a DPS, like a Reaper, onto point to deal with it.
Just kill him.
I mean,
I know it sounds silly, but you have a D.Va. D.Va prevents Reaper from getting like any value. Guess this was a little low.
so the main idea, right, is
Yeah.
you cap point, right? Like first, and let's say the enemy team, like let's say they're playing rush, right?
Yeah. Again, if you
And
hold
like,
here, no matter what rotation they make, you can engage on them.
I'm talking about in the beginning though, like, do you know when everybody's all they're all in spawn coming
Right.
in?
So
You take
ideally,
that
you will
position
just
mainly.
get here first, and they see that they have like, I assume someone in the team called like the Sombra, probably architect is probably calling, hey, they have ball, they have Sombra, whatever. I assume that the enemy team just was playing like Ryan's area and running forward. Then Guxue from here would have engaged over here when the tanks are pushing forward. Even if, let's
Yeah.
go forward. Even if their team is not that split apart, like if Ryan is pushing forward this way, he's got a shield, right? And Zarya is playing here, and Ana is just a little behind them, and they even have a Lucio. We just jump behind them, or to the high ground, because again they have nothing to contest the high ground, so both are good options. So from the high ground, we just stop them up, or we land on Diana, we bubble Diana away, and we just try to deal with Diana and kill Diana.
But you can't do that if you're playing solo Winston. So
Hey,
preferably the high ground one would be better.
Yeah, the high ground is probably the safest option. You can just tickle them all, and they got nothing to deal with you, right? Like if they're playing Ryan Zarya Rash with like Sombra Reaper, they're just trying to get to point. You can just take the high ground and sap them, and they already have health, and then your Ash just gets a free headshot on anyone because the rank can only shield these, and if they don't deal with you, you just kill the backline, and you probably have to have a D.Va with you, like, and a Sombra all the way around, coming this way probably. So you are not alone. You shouldn't be alone, at least. Again, the idea of meta is we can play any comp if we play it perfectly. But on ladder, you may get very different results. So in ladder, it may not work because again, maybe you go in, like maybe you're playing here and you go in, but your D.Va is just like, no, I just want to stay on point, and your Sombra is like, no, I'm just hacking the mega actually. So you just go in by yourself and you die, and your team is like, hey monkey, why did you die? And you're like, I expected people to come with me, but it doesn't always happen. It's definitely more difficult to coordinate in ladder than it is in, well, Overwatch League.
I guess you just got to see in it. Like you take the most safest option, see what your teammates do, and then when you think they're helping, you just
Yeah.
like
Or
do the risky things, like jump Ana.
Ideally, you will have them on comps, so you have at least some semblance of coordination. But sometimes they don't. They are not even in comps, even at your rank like master. So it's like,
Exact. Oh my god,
yeah.
that's the most annoying thing.
From here, you in theory you just take the high ground and die behind them. You coordinate with your team, like you have a D.Va with you, you have a Sombra with you, and you just kill the backline while they're rotating. Because it's very difficult for a
What they're
team
gonna
to
do?
actually be stacked like 6 people on top of each other. It's probably gonna be like Ryan, Zarya close, Lucio, Ana, or Baptiste like one step behind. And right now, what people are playing is not even Ashe. We are playing Echo, who does even more damage and can even die with Ashe. So it's like we don't have an Ashe. We actually have an Echo who can come with us and kill anything that goes slow. One second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to sneeze.
Bless
Okay, thank you.
you.
They're usually about an hour each, yeah. But yeah, the general idea of that is we play here, we if they're playing a rush comp and coming this way, we jump them. If they're playing a rush comp and coming this way, we just play here, we sap them when they come through, and whenever the tanks go to point, we drop on the backline and try to kill the backline. Because again,
So what if they're all clumped up right behind the Rhine shield? Like they're playing like a like some Roman phalanx. Like they're all together shields. Like you know what I mean?
I get what
Like
you
what if
mean,
they're all
but the idea is the same. The Rhine shield can only point one way. So if the Rhine shield is pointing forward, imagine you have an Ashe here, right? If the Rhine shield is pointing forwards to protect you from the Ashe, then your Sombra or your Tracer can come in from the flank and do damage. You from up here ignore the Rhine shield. Your Diva is away from the Rhine shield, and if the Rhine turns around to try to help, or even just drops his shield, then your Ashe just gets 3 kills. It's the same idea of the Reinhardt as a hero can only hold one direction. So by pressuring him from very different angles, you can force his team to react somewhere else.
How would you have expected the enemy Reinhardt to deal with it? Is it literally impossible to not be able to play like a Ryan Zari? Like, is it just straight up counter?
It's actually easier to play Ryan Zarya than playing Dive. That's why you see a lot of Ryan Zarya and Ladder. You just have to go together. Whereas Ryan Dive requires like a lot of coordination, people knowing who to go on, and the tanks calling the right things, and just it requires a lot more coordination. If it were like I said, in an ideal world, you can counter basically anything by playing meta, but ladder is not an ideal world, but by any stretch of the imagination. What's probably going to happen is that they're just gonna have like Ryan Zarya or even Ryan Roadhog coming through main, and it's gonna be like, hey, I'm Ryan. The Ryan is actually holding here, right? And the Roadhog is just going to point. And they have 4 people here by themselves, but Yurash is like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna shoot at the Ryan and not do anything, even though I can probably like rotate a little bit and get a shot in the backline. And your Tracer is like, I'm gonna go to point and tilt the Roadhog. And meanwhile you are here by yourself, and you're like, well, I'm doing damage to the backline, but I cannot actually do anything by myself. So dive is definitely a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Dive is definitely a lot more difficult to pull off than just Brawl comps, because you just move together. But can you win against Brawl with dive comps? Yeah, high level teams and Overwatch League and even like mid GM teams do it all the time, and they make it look easy. You just jump into the backline. And on the ladder, even though you're like on 37 something like that right now, it's still gonna be very difficult to have a level of coordination with everyone in your team, especially if they're not in comms, to just go in and kill their supports immediately so that the tanks don't get healing.
Yeah. But kill the tanks immediately?
No. Kill the supports immediately so the tanks don't get healing. If you kill the supports, then Reinhardt is a hero that requires like all the healing in the world, right? So if you kill the support, then Ryan is basically useless. You just poke him with Monkey. He cannot outrange you. You actually outrange Reinhardt, so all you have to do is walk away and zap him through the shield, and he just dies. If you're on a 1v1. Again, you're probably not on a 1v1, right? But yeah.
Let's say that your team is running Mercy Lucio for some reason. You would not want to play Ryan instead, right?
No. If your team is running Mercy Lucio, Ryan is like the worst option. At the very beginning of Overwatch, like 5 years ago, maybe you could have gotten more than away with it. But right now, there is so much damage in the game that your Ryan will just lose every fight. Like, he will not have enough resources to stay alive.
So you wouldn't blame me going Winston, right?
No, for sure not. Like, if you have Lucio Mercy, I think either Winston or I would actually suggest Paul. Paul is probably a better call. But Monkey is probably better than Ryan, at the very least.
Yeah.
And the reason I would go Paul is that Monkey still requires healing. He's not a hero that can play by himself all of the time, right? It's like Ryan definitely requires more healing than Monkey, but Ball requires even less healing. If you're playing Ball, you can get away with like teams have been playing Zenyatta damage plus Mercy, not even healing Mercy, because Ball doesn't require any healing. Ball just goes, Ball just rolls away, gets the health back, comes in, gets 700 HP from the shields, and just survives, and then rolls away again, gets another mega, comes back. Ball doesn't require any
And then
healing.
repeat.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he's very
I can
annoying. He's
understand
very difficult
how
to get.
good Ball is.
Okay. So yeah, that's hopefully that's a good insight onto holding positions where you can, especially against like rush comps, try to take the advantage by taking the high ground, taking positions that they cannot reach, and force them into weird rotations. Like if they come
Yeah.
this way and you're playing here, which is again, this is just the best spot, I think. If you cap the point, this is the best spot. If they come to here, you sub them. If they come through here, you just walk here and sub them. If they try to take the high ground, you stage a dive. What the enemy should probably do is stack a 6, like with Ryan in the middle, and try to take the high ground so you cannot dive them. But at that point, what you do is you just come here, contest them on point, on the choke for as long as you can, so that your Ash or your Echo or your Sombra can set up, then you just drop. And if they chase you, you just jump back up. Again, the idea is contesting high ground. You don't hold, you don't take, you contest spaces.
Yeah. I see what you mean. In the end, that's all you can do, anyways.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
honestly, it's enough. It's more than enough for Monkey to contest this space. The more you contest, the more time you're buying, the more time, space, and actually sidelines and angles you're buying your DPS to get value. Monkey is really a hero
true.
that he can kill things by himself. If you dive the backline, that if you got nano, you can just go on the backline and kill things. But if you don't have anything like that, you cannot really kill things by yourself,
Well,
especially
unless you
not
got
against
primals, but
tanks. Yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. Could you do me also like a little help?
yeah,
Like from the stuff that we talked about with the tips and stuff, could
yeah.
you write down instead of doing it on Paint, how about you message me on Discord about like from what we've talked about today, things I can take off this. For example, like you said, mid rotation, like a mid
Diving
rotation
rotation is
dive.
very important. Yeah. I will say
Uh,
this: you usually want to have information. Don't just go in blind. And this is gonna be harder to get if you don't have any comms with your team. But again, Guxue
yeah,
is enabled to just do these very aggressive mid rotation dives because he's got Architect, he's got Godsby informing him of what's going on. He's not jumping in blind. He knows that the enemy team is rotating, who is rotating. So jumping blind can be very difficult. But if you have the information, it's really good.
yeah.
But okay, yeah. All right.
But yeah, like
I can DM you on Discord, though, yeah.
like thank you very much for this session.
No problem.
I will definitely keep it in mind.
Yeah. All right, and
But besides that,
I'll DM you the info right now.
yeah,
I'll actually take like a 3 minute break for ads, and we'll just do it there.
yes, sir. Thank you, man.
No problem.
Hopefully, have a nice day, chat, and good luck with your stream, man.
Thank you.
Bless.
Pleasure. Too. All right, chat. Let's take a short break then. Hold on, I need to set up the break because I didn't have it set up because I was using Firefox for the video. But yeah, that was different, and I think it was helpful. Watching Ola, getting opinions on why this is happening. Yeah, that's usually how you learn, by watching the highest level and trying to figure out what they're doing and why they are doing it. At the very least, that's how I usually go into coaching. Like, the things I apply into coaching are things I learned from, well, playing and watching the people that are better than me playing. It's not like I just know these things. I was not born with Overwatch knowledge, guys. But yeah, that's usually how I figure things out. Like, why is, like, on this one in particular, I was like, why is Spark winning so many fights? If I was just analyzing things, well, they have a great information on their their Sombra and their Ashe are providing great information, and Guxue is making really good use of it and just diving the backline. So knowing where the team is, knowing where the enemies is, where the enemies are, sorry, and being able to just stop them in rotation is very important on this map in particular, especially because high ground is so important. Like if you have an Ashe or an Echo, even you just want to have the high ground, and if they cannot take this high ground because you're playing here and you are stopping them mid rotation, you just win the game. Like we actually got to 99%. Sorry, Spark got to 99% right away, and we lost because basically they EMP'd. Because EMP is a 5-minute ultimate, they got enough people, and we just lost to EMP. All right, let's take a 2-3 minute outbreak then. I'll be right back.